Welcome to Khealos' Gaming Table. I'm Khealos. Today I'm going to take you on a historical tour of battle mechs. Tonight I'm going to review Catalyst Game Labs' Proliferation Cycle Pack. I received the Proliferation Pack as a birthday gift a couple of months ago. I've been interested in this pack since it was released last year, mostly because I'm a hobbyist and a collector of battle mechs. I just hadn't gotten around to getting it yet. It's a great set, so let's get into it. The Proliferation Cycle box set is released by Catalyst Game Labs. You can find it at your friendly local game store, Amazon, the CGL website, Ares Miniatures and Games, and other online storefronts. It retails for $44.99 US. It contains 7 high-quality, fully assembled, unpainted miniatures, 7 Mech Warrior cards, 7 Alpha Strike cards. There's also a code where you can redeem digital copies of the 7 Proliferation Cycle short stories. This pack isn't for everyone. It isn't a unified force based upon a single faction. Several of the models look to be technically extinct by the Succession Wars era, if not sooner. Still, collectors and hobbyists will enjoy it, especially if you're looking to show off your collection or painting skills. If you're playing in a campaign, you might find a cache of ancient mechs. They just might not be a bunch of Star League era royal mechs. Here we have the Proliferation Cycle box from Catalyst Games. As you can see, it's got 7 mechs in it. It's bigger than your standard box because of that. And here's what the back looks like, giving a little bit of a detail. If you're looking for the record sheets, you can find it here. Go ahead and open it up. This is one of my favorite things about the new boxes. I love the artwork in the back of each one. They really go out of their way to help sell the franchise and show some of the gorgeous artwork that BattleTech has generated over the years. And as you can see, that is the Mackie. As with all of the other box sets and Lance packs that have come out, you're going to get your Alpha Strike cards, and you're also going to get your pilot cards. One of the things that really is nice about this pack is there's actually a card with a code on it. This code has been used. This is the card that you can claim the digital copies of each of the 7 Proliferation Cycle stories. Each one of the stories details from the particular house or faction their creation of the battle mech. Now these are going to be in no particular order. But first and foremost, we have the Mackie. This is the original battle mech that started it all, created by the Terran hegemony. 100 tons of walking destruction. The model itself is great, and I definitely enjoy it more than the model that was originally released that, at least to me, looked like, like a 50s robot. And this just looks more like a weapon of war, and it also has the groin guns, the dick guns. Next we have the Battle Axe, and this is kind of the prototype for what would become the Warhammer. This is another gorgeous model. It's got the 2 PPCs and SRM6. I really like this model as well. I will probably paint it up as a Warhammer, because that is one of my favorite heavy mechs. It's iconic. I also like the fact that it's got the shoulder pods open, kind of like what the Archer is. The Ymir is a 90-ton assault mech. On paper, it is not very powerful. However, something you've got to remember is this was created, around the year 2500 before battle mechs became synonymous with war. And this isn't a bad looking mech, it's a little awkward. You can definitely tell where they were cobbling weapon systems into a chassis to get it onto the battlefield. It's not a bad mech, it's just, I don't know, kind of awkward looking, at least to my eye. The Gladiator, not to be confused with the Gladiator from the Clans, is another good-looking mech. It is kind of the Griffin prototype. It's a 55-ton mech. It's got jump jets. I do like the jump packs on it, similar to the Phoenix Hawk. But all in all, it's a really gorgeous-looking mech. And the Icarus 2 is kind of just a generic-looking mech, although it looks like it might have a magazine of some kind on its right arm. And it's not bad looking. The Firebee is the only light mech in the Proliferation pack. It's a 35-ton mech that's relatively fast for the era. Kind of reminds me of a Stinger with the little antenna or whatever it is. This thing was devastating on the battlefield, especially against armor, because it often used Inferno missiles. And lastly, we've got the Coyote. This is the first Omni-Mech created by Clan Coyote. Using space magic and a little bit of help from the Sea Foxes, they were able to develop the Omnipods to hot swap out a bunch of equipment quickly, changing the role on the battlefield as opposed to being stuck with particular hard points or specific variants. This changed the way the clans fought wars forever. Kicking it off, we have the MSK-6S, the Mackie. Created by the Terran Hegemony and tested in combat in 2439, the Mackie is the first true battle mech designed from the ground up as a weapon of war. Nothing was ever the same again. Weighing in at 100 tons, the Mackie sported 1 PPC, 2 medium lasers, 1 autocannon 10, and 15 heat sinks to keep it cool. It cruised at a speed of 54 kph. Once the great houses learned of the Mackie, they worked to steal the plans and create their own units. Next, we have the BKS-7K Battle Axe. Designed by the Federated Sons, the first prototype walked out of the factory in 2459. In many ways, it is the ancestor to the venerable Warhammer. Weighing in at 70 tons, it's armed with 2 PPCs, 2 LRM-5s, and 1 SRM-6. To keep it cool, it has 15 heat sinks. It moves at 64 kilometers an hour and has jump jets for additional mobility. The original model was released for battle droids, and yeah, you can say it's primitive. It was resculpted later by Ironwood Metals, and that looks much better. Third on the list is the BWP-X1, the Ymir. A 90-ton battle mech designed by the Lyran Commonwealth, it first saw action in 2462. It was a primitive mech armed with 2 LRM-5s, 1 large laser, 1 AC-5, 4 SRM-2s, and 2 flamers. It could only reach a cruising speed of 53 kilometers an hour due to its primitive engine. The BWP-2 Bravo was an upgrade. It was armed with 1 autocannon 5, 1 large laser, 2 LRM-5s, 4 SRM-2s, and a small laser. 16 heat sinks helped keep it cool, and it moved at a speed of 64 kph. The Ymir is a primitive mech, and it looks like it. For a 90-ton mech, it doesn't have much damage output, but I'm sure in the 2500s, it was a terrifying thing to behold. Looking at the history, it was briefly revived during the the Word of Blake attack due to its retro-tech design and basic weapons. The fourth mech on this list is the GLD-1R Gladiator. The Gladiator was designed by the Draconis Combine and went into full production in 2468. The Gladiator is a smaller mech than the ones that I've gone over, coming in at 55 tons. It's only armed with one large laser and two medium lasers. It did have 13 heat sinks to help keep the heat down, and moved at a speed of 86 kilometers an hour, but it also has jump jets. It was quickly replaced with the GLD-4R, upgrading it to a PPC, one SRM-6, two medium lasers, and it kept the jump jets. Number 5 is the only light mech in the pack, the FRB-2E Firebee. Designed by the Capellan Confederation, the Firebee was first produced in 2483. The Firebee weighed in at 35 tons. It's armed with a single large laser and 4 SRM-2s. It could move up to 86 kilometers an hour and had jump jets. The last inner sphere unit on the list is the 40-ton ICR-1S, the Icarus II. The ICR-1S was designed by the Free Worlds League and went into production in 2518. Technically, it was the third League mech, but the first to actually go into full production after the prototypes of the Icarus and the Hector. It was armed with an AC-10, two medium lasers, and one small laser. It moved at a speed of 64 kilometers an hour and also had jump jets. A flavor of the Icarus II made it all the way up to the Republic of the Sphere and has a pair of T-Semp cannons, jacking the battle value to a whopping 2775. The last unit on the list is a clan mech, specifically the first Omni mech. We're talking about the Clan Coyote 40-ton Khealos. For those not in the know, an Omni mech doesn't have a select grouping of weapons. Oh no. Instead, it has different pods that carry various weapon loadouts that can be swapped quickly. This helps make Omni mechs very versatile and quickly outfitted depending upon the mission. It does make them more expensive though. The Khealos Prime is armed with one ERPPC, one medium pulse laser, one LRM-10, and one Streak SRM-4. 10 double heat sinks keep the Khealos cool as it races around the battlefield at 119 kilometers an hour. The Khealos is still being used, with the Khealos D being deployed in 3149. The D sports one improved heavy large laser, one AP Gauss rifle, one Streak LRM-10, tag, and a targeting computer. And just because the original Khealos wasn't fast enough, it also has a supercharger. So, after all of that, the question now becomes, should you pick up the Proliferation Cycle Pack? The answer is, it really does depend. The Proliferation Cycle Pack is a great collection of mechs whose only themes are they're the first mechs designed by each of the great houses. Each of the models is beautifully sculpted with a lot of fantastic details that will be a joy to paint. Having said that, yes, the box set is really for collectors and hobbyists. Sure, you can use them as proxies or even use later era variants. However, for $44.99, you can also pick up a Lance pack, Star pack, or level 2 that might have more modern models. The one thing that I really do enjoy that's included in the Proliferation Cycle Pack are the digital e-novellas that you can download. I really hope that Khealos Game Labs continues with that trend with future releases. And that's it for my review of the Proliferation Cycle Pack. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. As of this recording, I am over 100 subscribers. My next milestone will be 250. Please share the video and help me grow the channel. What are your thoughts on the Proliferation Cycle Pack? What are your favorite units out of it? Have you used it on the tabletop? Leave me some comments below, and I'll catch you in the next video.